Hello, good people. Thank you so much for checking in on the channel. I appreciate you for hanging out. Listen, I want you to click that link right there if you want to come to our vision board party. It's going to be January the 9th, 7 o'clock p.m. downtown Detroit. We want to see you there. Click that link so you can just go ahead and get the information. We'd love to see you. Second, click the same link if you want to order my new book. It's a guided journal entitled The Awakening. I'm so excited about this guided journal, specifically really for young men. It's a great holiday gift for the young man in your life. We're having a discussion, brothers, man to man, because we're getting ready kind of to discuss the midterms. I got a great plan for 2026 I want to tell you about in a few moments. We're getting ready for the midterms, and then the next thing that we'll be focusing on directly after that is going to be 2028. With that thought in mind, I want to get your opinion on this. Would you vote, black men, for Pete Buttigieg? And I'm going to say, you know, I have a hard time pronouncing this last name, so just bear with me on that. I'm gonna probably abbreviate that with Pete B, which is what you see there on the screen. So would you vote for him? Let me know in the comments below. I've got him on a recent interview. Now these guys, I don't. Oh man, I should have looked a little bit more into this, but I know that these guys are some business owners, and they're a diverse group, right? But I would say that they are a right-leaning group of tech bosses, if that makes sense. That's what I gather from them. I'm a vague viewer of their podcast channel. I probably should look it up real quick and see who these gentlemen are. Let's see. Is this the All In podcast? I think this is the All In podcast, right? I bet I should put, I guess I should put some respect on their name. Okay, this is the All In podcast, and I'm listening to a recent interview. It looks like maybe a month ago. It looks like a recent interview that was done with Pete Buttigieg. It came back up on my algorithmic timeline, I guess because it knows that you know, that I know, that we know it's time for us to begin to come together and decide what we want for 2026. Listen, with all of the political coalitions so fractured after like the decisive win that we saw in 2024, you almost know just statistically that can't be repeated. And then on the opposite end of that spectrum, there isn't a set vision, there isn't a set leader person, right? There isn't a set issue that has been coined at this time. You know, we were looking back a couple of midterms ago, and what were we talking about? We were talking about Prop 3, you know what I mean? So the right to reproductive care, et cetera, et cetera. And that became what? A galvanizing issue that really, really propelled a particular party over the finish line at a midterm. So what I'm saying is that the party has not identified that coalition, that issue on the opposite end. And so what I'm saying is that, and what I'm proposing, quite frankly, black men, is that we are primed for this discussion, because we in fact can determine who's going to win this midterm, both in our state and then beyond, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm proposing to you, and what I want to begin to ask you early on, is, do you think this is a viable candidate for president? Why or why not would you vote for someone like Pete Buttigieg? I saw a part of this interview, and I want to go ahead and get into it here without further ado. Let me bring him in, and we're going to jump into this interview that they're having here.
And if not, why not? I think that he is right to draw attention to the problem of the border.
All right, so the question that was just being asked, just for full context, I'll let them ask it.
That it made the right decision to close the border, and if not, why not? I think I'd end up screwing it up for one of the other two. That would make more sense in the U.S., but I think the reality in practice is it's not unusual. You know, people keep imagining maybe what if we had a third party, and you know, I look at other countries that have It's not unusual in a lot of other modern countries to have 4, 5, 6, 7 parties. In some ways, it feels on its face like that would make more sense in the U.S. But I think the reality in practice is, anytime somebody tries to go off and start a third party, it just winds up screwing it up for one of the other two, and we're right back where it started.
Pete, do you think that Donald Trump made the right decision to close the border? And if not, why not?
I think that he is right to draw attention to the problem of the border, and that it is important to have a secure border. I don't believe it was true that it was exactly open before. I think it is functionally closed now. But I would agree that the last administration didn't do enough, and didn't do enough early enough.
I think that's going to be an issue for me personally, like this inability to answer a question outright, because one thing that I believe has like stretched the awareness of the politically engaged black man is like, one thing that Trump has brought into this political ecosystem is like this raw truth, like yes or no, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking amongst us now, like you know what I mean? Don't be so deep and so politically correct that you can't see a good yes or no question, right? And again, this is a discussion and an approach that it's going to take in order to have this voting demographic be a part of your coalition. This is the way that we want to hear you speak. I felt like that was a good. Yet I felt like that was just a. I felt like that was like an 85-mile-an-hour fastball. Like that was an easy one. You should have hit over the fence. But here we go with some type of word salad that justifies you not agreeing with the guy that had a common sense approach. Like that was like, can you not say a good idea was a good idea? Okay, let's go further.
Biden on the border. Yeah.
And why do you think Biden looked the other way?
Yeah, what was the strategy? Was there a strategy?
Yeah, I think what happened was he was really looking to Congress to do it. He came out of Congress, he was a creature of Congress, and thought, Congress can forge a bipartisan, since, there's actually a bipartisan agreement among the American people on what to do, right? Which is what most people believe, what I believe, which is let's make it harder to come in illegally and easier to come in legally, and to get legal if you're not. I mean, that's where most people are.
That's about 80% of the country.
Yeah, and that's where most of the space for compromise has been on the Hill. And yet, I think it was the 80s, the last time we had an actual bill to fix it. So I think and this is speculating, I mean, I never really, was in the middle of the immigration side of things, but I think he felt like the way to do this was to get things done in Congress.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait, let's let him finish this piece right here.
Felt that, he managed to get the infrastructure bill done, IRA. I think he felt like the way to do this was to get things done in Congress. He felt that, he managed to get the infrastructure bill done, IRA. But what's interesting is when he finally gave up on Congress, when it was clear that we just weren't going to get very far. And meanwhile, you had that set of executive orders that came late in the term. That had a major effect on the number of illegal crossings. So you got to ask yourself, if that executive order that happened toward the end, if that had been done in year 1, year 2, would we be in a different place? Now, of course, we're on the other extreme. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a bait and switch. That's what it gives. It doesn't give. It doesn't. And when I say give, I mean like it doesn't give me the sense that we're going to really be able to draw a line in the sand, because essentially what it's going to take in order for you to earn a black man's vote, which again I believe is a voting demographic that you'll need moving forward in order to win a presidential election, particularly in a state like Michigan. You're gonna need the type of candor that isn't too fluffy. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna need to be transparent, forthcoming, and honest, and you're also going to be able to be able to call a spade, even when that means you don't agree. Like you've seen now our leaders in that space openly go against even people of their party, and sometimes work with them even after the fact, but they're always going to operate in this level of truth and this level of bluntness and this level of honesty. And if I'm with you, I'm with you. If I'm against you, I'm against you on this issue or on this topic or on this. You see what I'm saying? You've got to be able to call a spade a spade. And I think that even just in a short time of listening in at his demeanor, I don't think he's going to have it. And I wouldn't. I need to see a little bit more before I'd say I'm all in on Mr. Pete. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that comment, that scan, that QR code right above, so that you can get the book that I wrote entitled The Awakening. It is a guided journal. Listen, The Awakening, please, or scan rather that QR code above. It's going to make a perfect holiday present for the young man in your life.